Hello to everyone at the Danbury Institute and to all of the wonderful pastors and faith leaders, very respected people gathered for the Southern Baptist Convention annual meeting. That's a big deal. These are difficult times for our nation, and your work is so important. We can't afford to have anyone sit on the sidelines. Now is the time for us to all pull together and to stand up for our values and for our freedoms. And you just can't vote Democrat. They're against religion. They're against your religion in particular. You cannot vote for Democrats, and you have to get out and vote. We have to defend religious liberty, free speech, innocent life, and the heritage and tradition that built America into the greatest nation.
Okay, so that is basically a message of him aligning himself with a radical anti-abortion group. And we're gonna talk about that because it's hugely consequential for people's rights and for the election. But just briefly, could we pause for this? They're against religion. They're against your religion. He's talking to Christians and he called it your religion, which is totally what you say when you're an atheist. And it's not your religion, it's their religion. And you're identifying the gap between you and them, which is so honest. Trump is accidentally being honest there. It's not his religion. He doesn't believe it. And if you're a conservative watching this, if you're a conservative Christian watching this, you need to get it through your thick head that he thinks you're a rube who believes in fairy tales, okay? And I know that you can get mad about people who believe that. You certainly get mad at leftist atheists who don't respect your religious beliefs. Why doesn't it bother you that Donald Trump has no more respect for them? But in any event, the more substantive and significant part of this is that he is talking about the Danbury Institute. So this is an anti-abortion Christian group. They are about as anti-abortion as you can get. And he's saying, we have to support innocent life. We can't be on the sidelines. We have to come together to completely eliminate those rights. That's what they want to do. And he says he supports them. They put out, this is on their website, by the way. So they say, what do you stand against? No one likes to be known solely for what they stand against. We're honored to stand for life and liberty, which only means stopping certain rights, by the way. They're not like getting out there, getting fired up about making sure that kids have enough food to eat or whatever, but that does not necessarily mean that there are things which we kindly but convictionally oppose. That's not a word. Here are a few examples. Small things like abortion, just in general, just any abortion. Okay, LGBTQ plus indoctrination of children, which means LGBTQ plus people existing somewhere near kids. That's all that means. Gender confusion, they hate trans people. Transgender ideology, it's not a thing. They mean the existence of trans people. There's no ideology, there are only people, okay? The dissolution of the nuclear family. Okay, so do you have an issue with, like the late stage capitalism destroying families and making it so that people can't? Okay, infringement upon religious liberty. It's not supposed to be infringed upon, it's supposed to do the infringing, that much is clear. Government overreach, basically anything they don't like. Censorship, critical race theory, Marxist ideology, socialism. So it's just right-wing stuff. That's all it is. It's a grab bag of radical right-wing stuff that they want done, and they want other things not to be done. And it's difficult to persuade people of your political opinions. So let's just say it's religious or whatever. That makes it easier, right? So in any event, they say specifically that they're against abortion, and that is, for many of these groups, their modus operandi. That's the one thing that they care truly about. They say, we believe that the greatest atrocity facing our generation today is the practice of abortion. Child sacrifice on the altar of self. More than 60 million preborn humans, each wonderfully made in the image of God, have been murdered on our watch. Abortion must be ended. We will not rest until it is eradicated entirely. And that is what Donald Trump is aligning with. By the way, you'll notice on the list of things that they were against, like capital punishment and those sorts of things, police brutality, things that kill other people who are modeled in God's image, they don't have a problem with. There's all sorts of lethal violence that they're perfectly happy with. Only the preborn humans. As soon as they're out, like with all other Christians, you're on your own, whatever. If you die of starvation or lack of access to medical care, again, I don't care. You've already been born. I'm moving on with my life. But that is the radical group that Trump is aligning with. And Sabrina, I want to bring you in here because he is trying supposedly to walk this tightrope of giving the right what they want and not allowing the election to be about abortion. And yet he keeps doing things like this that I feel like it's going to make it very easy for the left to make the election about abortion. But what do you think?
I think that list on their website that you just showed earlier was just kind of like for the purpose of SEO. Like a lot of them were just buzzwords to potentially bring in people to their website that they could get donations from. And wow, they're so concerned about 60 million children being murdered. Surely on their list of things that they're against, maybe genocide should be on there, or perhaps like family separation. Nope, not on there. It's just censorship, socialism, government overreach. Like these people do not actually care about children's lives. If they did, they would perhaps maybe take a stance on Israel and Gaza, but they're not. They're truly just, trying to get their own like Christian leadership to be elected, so that way they can, force their own beliefs on everybody, which is very odd since this is supposedly against government overreach.
Yeah, 100. No, it's a great point about Gaza too. Like, hypothetically, every one of those civilians that's killed was modeled in God's image.
Yeah.
Weird. But again, they don't mean it. They don't mean any of it. They don't mean any of it. There are some good white people who are modeling God's image, and then there are other things. I don't want to hear about them. I'm just not interested. By the way, I just want to go to this last quote. This is from the president of the SBC's flagship seminary, Albert Mohler, who says, "Say what you will about Donald Trump and his sex scandals. He doesn't confuse male and female." I understand what he's trying to do rhetorically. Say what you want. It's a thing that people say, but like when you tell me say what you want, I think, well, why don't you say something about it? You're the religious dude. You're with the flagship seminary. So like, what do you think about his sex scandals? What do you think about him effing around on his wife many, many, many times over many years? What do you think? You're focused on preborn humans. Melania had a preborn human. She was like 3 months into the pregnancy when he was going around and tomcatting on Melania. What do you think of that, dude? You don't seem to think much, but I love it. Oh, don't worry, he doesn't confuse male or female. Yeah, okay, caring about sex scandals is so 90s, and they did at the time care about Bill Clinton's sex scandals. Now it's like, well, but we like having affairs. Can we just talk about trans people? That would be easier. Again, you're the one with the book that God wrote or whatever that's supposed to be a perfect map to morality. You don't really seem that interested in it. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.